Welcome to the FaceTime with God podcast. I'm your host, Kay Farrar, and yes, you have tuned in to the right place because we're bringing Christ to the culture and the culture to Christ. Because the gospel's not for old times, it's for all times. So we've got relevant topics, real people, and we're starting right now. All right, everybody, so welcome to, you already know, another FaceTime with God. And I am so excited here because I have my brother in music, education,
let's do it,
jurisdiction, all of those wonderful things, none other than Dr. Herbert Monroe. Not the first, not the second, but the third.
Hallelujah.
Welcome to FaceTime with God.
Thank you.
We are so honored to have you. We are so honored to have you. This episode is going to be a treat. One of the things that we like to do is start off by letting people get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
Right? And
okay.
I can already tell it's not going to be difficult. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to, we've been doing rapid fire lately, so I'm going to do a little rapid fire. I'm going to give you a word or a phrase. And you give us your first response. There's no wrong answer. Whatever. So in other words, whatever you say it is, that's what it is. Okay?
All right.
All right. So here we go. Rapid fire. Ice cream.
Chocolate.
Vacation.
Jamaica.
Woo. Best song ever.
Prince. Purple Rain.
Wow. Your hero.
My father.
Awesome. Growing up.
Blessed.
Wow. If I could do it again.
I would be an actor like Denzel Washington.
Wow. All right, tell me why you picked Denzel. Why'd you pick Denzel?
Well, I think Denzel has a way of motivating, educating, and inspiring people to be great, to be a better version of themselves. Mm-hmm. And anytime I see him, I kind of lean in and just listen, and he gets like my undivided attention.
Yeah. I
just think he's phenomenal on and off the screen.
He is. By chance, did you happen to see him when he spoke to to Deion and the team, Colorado Buffaloes?
I did not.
Yeah, he reached out to Deion and said he wanted to talk to the team, and they put him on the screen, and he had a good time talking with the young men. Right. He's very inspirational. Now he's going out and he's doing messages and things on YouTube. So
I wanted to check him out.
Yeah, listen, me and half the world,
right,
along with you, good fans of Denzel for sure. So for those, I know we didn't do a formal introduction, but Dr. Herbert T. Monroe III, he is less than a year, I believe. You correct me if I'm wrong. Has been named Superintendent of Schools, Surrey County.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us a little bit about that role. What is your purview? What are you responsible for those who may not know? We're familiar with superintendents generally, right, but what is it that you do as a superintendent?
Well, as a superintendent, I am like the main, what I call, instructional leader. Okay. That means that I have to make sure, that our teachers are teaching, that our students are learning, and that we're lifelong learners. One of the things that I promote is that we always have to grow. Growth is very important, and we cannot stand still. I'm blessed to be in a school division where all of the schools are fully accredited. Oh. But my vision and my goal is I want Surrey to become the fishbowl, the place where other educators come to learn, to see how it's done, wow, to see how to make the underdog the top dog, and really to help students to be 3E ready. And what that means is upon on-time graduation, all of our kids need to be either enrolled, mm-hmm, enlisted, and or employed.
Love that.
Yes, ma'am.
Love that. So you're 3E ready. I love that. And going back to your bio, I seem to remember you mentioned 3 C's as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the C's?
Well, I'm going to tell you because I wear it on my chest, literally.
All right. Look, right there.
No, but one of the things that I learned is that it's very important to connect before you correct. I'm going to say that again.
Wow.
We need to connect before we correct. Mm-hmm. And I say we need to connect before we can wreck instead of catching and punishing.
Wow.
So I wanted folks to know that as the new guy coming in, I'm all about relationships. Mm-hmm. I'm going to treat you as if we all have the same last name.
Wow.
I love you before I know you. So when I got to Surrey, I said, we're going to operate under 3 C's. One, we're going to connect. We're going to collaborate, because I always say teamwork makes the dream work, right? And we're going to communicate. And I say that our connection, our collaboration, and our effective communication makes us the strong but mighty Surrey Cougar Nation.
Wow. Wow. Connect, collaborate, and communicate.
Hallelujah. And this year,
Wow.
I'm adding a 4th C.
Okay.
And the 4th C is care. So now we have connect, collaborate, communicate, and care. And care is actually an acronym that really has a very strong meaning. The C stands for compassion, the A stands for affirmation, the R stands for respect, and the E stands for empathy. And that's the next C going into year 2 that we're really going to focus on those 4 themes.
Okay. I just love it that you're so visionary. I mean, it just exudes from you, right? Not that you're just thinking about, nuts and bolts, but everything is, I mean, you just got there. But you already have, what you're going to do, what you're going to emphasize, for next year.
Right.
And then that's a big part of leadership, is kind of having a purview, a lay of the land, not just the nuts and bolts. That's what,
Right.
Principals are looking for. That's what the district is looking for. And apparently they found it when they found you. Those students found it when they found you. And it's not like you just showed up and became superintendent. So tell us, and of course we know that, but tell us a little bit about your journey from where you started in your career until where you are today.
Wow. Well, that is, I don't know we have time.
I know. Give us the highlights.
Get the highlights. Well, what I want to say first is both of my parents were principals.
Okay.
And they said, Herbie, that's what they call me, Herbie, whatever you do, don't get into education. But like all good kids, we listen to our parents, right? But, I think, sometimes you don't choose the profession, the profession chooses you.
Wow.
And I think, God put me on this planet to work with young people. I joke and I say I was too tall to play basketball. I wrestled. So I went to college at a little place called Lock Haven University in the middle of rural Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And people talk about the black experience. I got the black experience because there were only 98 students of color at Lock Haven.
Okay.
And I was a wrestler, and wrestling is not something you see a lot of black athletes. But we were 30 miles down the road from Penn State. I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi at Penn State.
Okay.
And I'm a founding brother at Lock Haven University.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. But after college, it was my college wrestling coach that told me I needed to become a teacher. So I did 10 years in Pittsburgh.
Isn't that something?
10 years as a 3rd grade teacher. I did 3 years as a 6th grade teacher. My dad passed. My dad was principal at Laburnum Elementary. When he passed, Dr. Edwards said, your mom would never tell you, but if you want to relocate back to Virginia, we got a job for you. So I did 3 years at Mount Vernon Alternative School in Henrico.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Then I went on to become assistant principal at Falling Creek in Chesterfield. And then I spent a year as the intern at Henrico High School.
Okay.
Then I was 7 years at Lakeside Elementary, 3 years at Henrico High School.
Wow.
Behold the green and gold.
Wow.
And then I went on up to Caroline County as the assistant superintendent. And now I am the proud superintendent for Surrey County Public Schools.
That's so awesome. And I was just trying to go through my mind and also kind of refer back to your bio. And I may have missed it. Did you mention middle?
Well, I was an interim principal at Caroline Middle School.
Caroline Middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you did elementary, middle, and high.
Yes, ma'am.
So you definitely know the lay of the land. Now, back when you were teaching, what was your specialty? Was it reading, math?
Well, as a 3rd grade teacher, you wear all the hats.
That's
so,
true. That's true.
Reading, math, science, I basically taught everything.
That's true.
I taught everything. But what was interesting was, in Pittsburgh, again, I always seemed to find myself being the singleton.
Okay.
I was the only black male elementary school teacher in the entire school division in Western Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And what's so powerful is that the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette actually did a story on me where I had to report life as a first year teacher every 6 weeks. And what's so cool is my first grade class, there's this girl, her name is Anna Bishop. She is in the newspaper with me.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I was eventually one of the teachers of the year in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And it was unique being African American. Do you know this white female came all the way down here after college, and she was a teacher at Holland Springs Elementary School, and Anna ended up becoming teacher of the year and was a phenomenal elementary teacher. And I was principal at Lakeside Elementary when she was across the county at Holland Springs Elementary. I didn't even know until some people said, there's a girl from Pittsburgh who's the teacher of the year. And when we connected, we both cried. And you know what she said? She said, Mr. Monroe, I became a teacher because of you.
Isn't that something? I mean, it's just so amazing. Not only did she become a teacher because of you, in some ways she became a teacher like you, in the sense that you were, in other words, at that level of excellence. You were teacher of the year, and then she was teacher of the year. So look, tell us about this teacher of the year secret. What does it take to be teacher of the year? How does that happen?
Well, what they'll tell you is in education, they throw something out called a sense of belonging.
Okay.
And that's a phrase that people use, but I try to add meaning to the phrase.
Okay.
So if I could break it down.
Okay.
This is what I think the secret formula is. One, kids have to be physically, socially, and emotionally safe. You have to create an environment where kids can't wait to be in your presence.
Wow.
You know, and
That's so
that's all about relationships, and it's about building relationships before they get into your classroom. Like, how many teachers call kids in the summer? Like when you get your class list in June.
We're getting the secrets
when
here.
you get your class list, when you get your class list in June, are you calling your kids in July before open house?
Wow.
If you're a building principal, say you get hired in June, you don't start until July 1. Are you canvassing the neighborhood? Are you going to the Little League football games? Are you going to the swimming pools? Are you visiting the apartment complexes in the summer? See, you have to do things outside of the school year
there you go.
so that you can go places during the school year. You know, you have to build your what I call relationship bank account because there are going to come times when you have to write some checks and you don't want them to bounce.
Wow.
So the first one is the relationship. Number 2 is value. You have to value people as if they have your same last name. Once you're in my class, you're my child. I got 4 daughters, 2 grandkids, and I treat my students as if they're mine. Wow. And they know that because my wife will tell you, whenever we go somewhere, people are like, Dr. Monroe, Mr. Monroe, and they run up to me, and it's like, I just saw them yesterday. So you got to value. The other thing is empowerment. You have to give kids the right amount of voice and choice so that they're advocates for their own education. Number 4, you got to make sure that they're learning. Every child wants to learn. And I tell, all of these professors and all of these people out here doing research, I said, if a kid can put their boots on the ground and pop a fan and memorize the lyrics to their favorite song in the dance, they can pass an SOL test.
Absolutely.
And to me, the most important one is this. It's about culture. If we want our kids to be innovative and to think outside the box, we have to create a culture where kids can make mistakes without losing their dignity. See what I'm saying?
That's good.
You can't have fear. That false evidence appearing real. So I try to create that culture when I was a teacher. I do it as a superintendent because what's good for kids is also good for adults. You want your teachers to be safe, empowered, valued, learning, and creating a culture where they're taking risks and coming to work being the best they can be for the kids.
Yeah. Love it. And the other thing, that I get from you, in addition to being a visionary, in addition to really having your stuff together, even the way you're answering these questions, it's clear that, your clock is ticking. It is. It is.
Right.
So, but in addition to that, the other thing that I get is that whole authenticity, where you don't have to walk in here sounding like you talking from King James, right?
Right.
Because in order to project that I'm a doctor, you know what I mean? That you're comfortable just being, relaxed and being yourself, being chill. doing your music.
Right.
And so I think that's another key that I'm picking up from you that helps you with that connection. See.
Well, you know what? People say my energy and my, like you said, I guess authentic. I can. That's the only way that I can be. Because I was that black kid with an IEP. You probably wouldn't know it, but I was a severe stutterer.
Wow.
And see, one of the things that I learned is I can only be the best Herbert Monroe that I can be. I can't be anybody else. You know, people joke, they say, Doc, you got more degrees than a thermometer. You know, you got your doctorate, you got other certificates and degrees. You went to school in England, you know, you studied abroad, you did this and that. But it's not about that. My thing is, I'm blessed to have had those experiences. So how can I inspire and support others to be the best they can be?
Yeah. To
me, that's the gift. To me, that's the prize. To me, you know, there's no money value on that. To see other people succeed, that's what fuels my fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, look, I want to get to this connection a little bit. So I was serious about as long as I could be, right?
Right.
All right,
okay.
so now we want to have some fun.
All right.
All right, so we got some congas back here.
Uh-oh.
And you guys know that we love education on this channel, but you also know we love music.
Okay.
And so let's see show us what you're working with on these congas.
Well, all right. The main band I'm playing is Kevin Davis and Bon Caribe.
Okay.
You know, there's about 7 or 8 albums on Spotify. Wow. And one of the earlier blessings was when I was principal at Henrico High School.
Okay.
Our drumline captain and I really connected. He graduated from Virginia State, and during the COVID period, he said, Doc, we're going in the lab. I want you to play percussion on our first album.
Wow.
So the name of the album is Infusions. Check it out. It's Trey Pollard.
Okay.
And, you know, James Gates, you know, Chico's on there, a couple other amazing musicians. And from that has really been my getaway, kind of like my mental wellness.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I play a little bit of congas and... Right? You get a little, you know, little wah-wah-ko. You know, just a little stuff. And then sometimes we funk it up later. You gotta come jam with me sometimes, though. I would love that.
I'm so rusty, but isn't that awesome?
Oh, y'all are too much, man.
That is so awesome.
Right?
You know the thing about it with you playing, you definitely you working with something. Just a projection, how loud they sound when he hits them.
Right.
Yeah, you not even being mic'd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, you know, you sound like you got a lot of background there. You know a lot.
Well, I don't know. I guess when look, I've tried a lot of different things.
Right.
So I played percussion for a little while. I was one of the drummers at RCC back in the day.
Wow.
They had a program coming up, and they had a full orchestra. I don't know if you ever went through RCC way back then. I don't know what that would have been. Probably the 90s.
I was in Pittsburgh. That's probably my Pittsburgh days.
But we had a full orchestra, and so they had a special program coming up, and they didn't need anybody to play set. They needed somebody to play the kettle drums. So I was like, well, I played that one time, and you know, in school when you're going through drums, they put you on different, especially girl. I wanted to play the snare, but they put me on the marimba and the kettle drum. But so I played that, and then the drummer was out, and so after I ended up being one of the drummers there. Yeah.
Wow.
I played for a group called Victory Praise Singers.
Okay.
Back in the day, and we traveled Finland, Russia, Switzerland.
My gosh.
I had to ship drums overseas because the director didn't want me to play on some drums I didn't know, so we shipped them. And
that
so
is
yeah,
amazing.
then I had a group called Bloodline.
Right.
That Texas was in, and
Okay.
We traveled. We did all. We just had fun. We played everywhere from Virginia Beach to Baltimore to L.A. to
Where's the
New
footage?
York.
Wait a minute. Where's the footage?
Oh, it's
I need
out
to see
there.
some footage.
It's out there.
All right, I'm gonna have to get some information. I get some footage.
We got albums out there.
I love it.
We were one of the few gospel groups back in the day when they had Fridays at Sunset.
Oh yeah.
We opened for Yolanda Adams.
Oh yes.
And we toe it up.
Toe it up. Right.
Thank the Lord. We didn't play with it. But we had a lot of fun.
That's what it's about.
So, yeah. Had a lot of fun. Young youth group. We started out as a praise team.
Right.
For the youth church. So yeah, that's what all this stuff is. We recorded here. Practiced in his room and different things. Back in the day.
This is a beautiful studio.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm so glad you brought these drums here.
Well, they just happen to travel with me. I just keep them in the truck. That's what I do.
I'm playing tonight.
Yeah.
So tell us about these shoes.
Well, you know what? I try to wear what I try to portray. Like I said,
so you cool. So you wear some cool kicks.
Well, I try to. I really. Again, it goes back with connecting with the kids, right? Sometimes people will judge you before they see you, and again, you have to be yourself. Now, I have some superintendent shoes too, but now people's like, Doc, where the J's at? Because sometimes I'll go places. They're like, man, we thought you were gonna wear the sneakers today. Yep. But I'm gonna tell you too. My partner, she's amazing because she sees maybe some gaps in things, and she always fills those gaps for me. Wow. So whether it's the shoes or whether it's a tie or whether it's just a suggestion, the teamwork making the dream work is so amazing at home. I always leave the house tight and right.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not playing with it.
She won't let me go out unless I'm right. So
she'll stop you at the door.
Oh yeah, she's like, well, wait a minute, you sure you want to do that?
That's so funny because my mom lived here with me. So my mother was a teacher. For 40 years.
Wow.
Roughly 40 years. She came here from Norfolk when she married my dad.
Okay.
So she taught. Wickham Court was her first school, and then. Patrick Henry and Maury was in the middle. So Wickham Court, briefly, Maury, and then Patrick Henry. Way back in the day.
Wow. Up there in Hanover.
No, Patrick Henry Elementary, which is now
Patrick Henry Elementary.
What do they call it? Special school. I forget what they call it.
School of the Music and Arts. Music and Arts and Science.
Is it a charter school or something?
Something like that. Okay.
Something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom was a teacher. But I see here somebody look just like you.
Well, you know what? This guy right here was amazing. When I was principal at Henrico High School, you talk about generations. There were parents of high school students that said, your dad was my elementary school principal. My dad was principal at Radcliffe Elementary and Laburnum Elementary. Started in the city of Richmond at Carver Elementary School and then went on to Clark Springs. But I think the most powerful thing about my dad is that when he grew up in Florence, South Carolina, the segregation in Jim Crow was crazy. And at age 17, my dad was going home from baseball practice, went into a restaurant for white people only, came out and spent 3 days in South Carolina State Prison. Wow. I actually brought a coin with me today. I hope I still have it in my pocket. There it is. And I don't know if you can see it, but
wow.
I actually if you could read the words on there, it says South Carolina State Prison. If you can see it,
we'll get a close up.
But
on the screen.
The powerful thing about it was it took the white people and the black people in the community to come together to get my dad out. And when he got out, guess what he decided to do? That's when he decided to become a teacher. Because he said, if I can teach kids to love each other, to turn to each other, not on each other, hopefully my kids won't have to go through what I went through in Florence, South Carolina.
Wow.
And I did a little YouTube post on it, and made a little vignette about it, because one thing that I found is my dad was just as impactful to his black students as he was to his white students. And if anyone wants to follow me on Facebook, just recently, one of my father's students was at a barber shop. Actually, the gentleman that cut his hair is AC. AC's father, actually, Mr. Cuffey, was the guy that replaced my dad at Radcliffe.
Okay.
And then later replaced my dad at Laburnum. But this white guy gets his hair cut from a black fella that I went to high school with.
Okay.
And one day they got to talking about school and elementary. He said, yeah, my dad was principal. And this white guy said, man, I had this most amazing principal. And he was talking, he said his name was Mr. Monroe.
Wow.
So he's like, do you know his son Herbie? He's like, no, but I've been trying to find him. Well, you know, I connected with this young man.
Wow.
And he and I actually went to a church and actually gave our testimony because this white gentleman named his son after my dad.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
How powerful is that?
That is so powerful.
So his son's
So
middle
powerful.
name is Monroe.
Isn't that something?
Colossians 3:23 and 24. And whatever you do, do it with all your heart as unto the Lord and not unto men, knowing that it's of the Lord that you shall receive the reward of the inheritance, because you serve the Lord Christ.